Okay, so this is real VR fishing on Apple Vision Pro called Fishing Haven. It's in early access on the App Store. It's kind of unusual. Yeah, so you can very obviously see why this is early access. Lots of things to work on here. Very, very interesting nonetheless. Not something we could recommend anyone buy, except if you are a real VR fishing fan from Quest or another system and want to support the devs as they try to develop this version. Frame rate on some of these updates isn't great. One thing that's really interesting though is this is hand tracking, and I find myself gripping my hand very tightly to try to recreate this. So my hand, you can see the difference here. This is my hand gripped really tightly, and I'm going to release it a little bit. And this is my hand pretty loose, and it's still got a good hold of this, right? It's still attaching the rod to my hand. It's interesting. Returning to ready. What does that mean? Cast. Returning to ready. That dialogue doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay. But what's interesting to me about this is I still want to participate in the role play of fishing. Even though I'm not holding a physical object in my hand, I'm holding the object with a really tight grip. The tight grip that I would use if I was actually holding a real fishing rod in my hand. And I can release it like that. But, oh, I let it go. But my hand just wants to just grip it really hard. And my fingers are dug into my hand, but you can't see that obviously. This is just a fascinating study here of where Apple is in VR gaming and enabling this sort of thing for players at home. And then what you kind of get out of the box, out of a Quest with the controllers. The visuals here are good enough. The hand tracking is good enough. That my brain is ready to participate in what's happening here, even if the software isn't ready to meet me yet. Right? So the simple act of holding a rod in my hand and going fishing, it would be aided significantly by haptics at the wrist, or maybe a pencil in my hand. Even an iPhone maybe? I don't know if an iPhone would do it if I held an iPhone like this and went... Would I get the haptic effects out of the rod that is missing here as I go like this with my other hand and try to pull in a fish? Frame rate here isn't great. I don't like... So once I grip it here, it loses all... Like... That's really odd. I've got one finger pointed out right now. So there's been work here to parent the object to my hand, unless I'm really flat. So I can hold it still like this with my hands outstretched. But over here, when I try to do the reel, over here when I try to do the reel and like poke my hand out into a weird position, it doesn't do the same thing. And obviously it makes sense, right? My finger would get caught up in the line. But it's also doing some really weird stuff with the frame rate. So like, how does this work? How do we go from here to this being better than real VR fishing on a Quest or with physical controllers on your hand? You can see the frame rate of the bobber moving in, kind of moves in big steps. Not really totally immersive. So really interesting work from Devs United Games. That's the developers of Real VR Fishing. But there's clearly so much to go here to kind of give you the full thing you get out of a Quest. But the fact is, I don't have controllers with me right now. It's the middle of the night, and I'm decided to put on an immersive VR game for a minute after watching The Last of Us on the Max app. And I don't have controllers nearby. And there's nothing that would make me go get controllers right now. Yet, it's still pretty great to just go fishing. Right? I'm here in the San Francisco Bay with my hands out here, and I need haptics. I absolutely need haptics to make this better. But what's the route to getting those here to me?
Thanks for giving us your time today, and please consider becoming a member at UploadVR.com to support our work directly.